Your host now.
Yep, I got that all fixed.
I think I might have to re-sign in. Any announcements?
An announcement.
Sure. Dave?
Go ahead, Dave. She got chopped off.
Okay, I thought I got chopped off.
Oh, no.
I was just going to say the WWV Amateur Radio Club next week is going to hold the WWV 106th anniversary operating event from October 2nd through the 5th. And so if you'd like more information, go to our website, www.arc.org, and follow the links and you can learn about it. And if you'd like to participate, I know a few people here might like to participate. Gary, you're going to be able to operate a little bit? I see a head nod. Excellent. So, and David, are you going to be able to operate as well?
I will plan to.
Excellent. Well, we've got our spreadsheet up on Google and same as before, and you guys should still have access to that spreadsheet. So let us know if you're going to participate. Go ahead and sign up. And we'd love to have a contact with anybody, especially this group of people. So hope you can find us on the air.
That sounds great. Dave, I'll see if we can work you during W3USR open station hours next Thursday.
It'd be perfect time to do it. And we have an announcement in the special events section of QST if you want to go look it up there too. So that'd be awesome. It's a really fun event because it's not a contest. And in fact, some of the conversations that we end up having with people on the air, sideband conversations, are really interesting. And people like to tell their story about WWV, how they got connected with it or what they like to do. Mine goes way back to when I was 8 years old. It was the first time I ever picked up a shortwave radio. It was suddenly like, why is it showing up the same beeping sound all across the band? And definitely got me interested in radio. And my folks bought me a Heathkit 50-in-1 kit when I was about 9 years old, and I started playing around with that. And one thing led to the next. And Gary and I built the same Heathkit radio. We figured out the HW. What was it? The 2012 or
the SW717.
SW717. That was a great radio, and it was really fun to build. And soldered the whole thing together, and had a ham down the street that helped me get the final tuning and everything on that. So, but those kind of stories are really fun, and you hear them on the air. And Fred Schwartzky, W9KEY, who's not a part of this group, but he's a big part of our club. He is really good on the air, and he gets going, and he has some great conversations with people. He's really entertaining to listen to. So hope you guys can tune us in. We'll be on the air from various places around the country, and it'll be a lot of fun. Thanks, Rachel.
Okay. Any other announcements? Okay. We'll get straight into updates.
All right. This server upgrade apparently is turning out to be more complicated than IT originally estimated. They thought they were going to have it done by 10 a.m. last Thursday, a week ago, because that was our upgrade day. So now we're a week into it. So anyway, what we've got working so far, okay, the website will run. We've had it just restricted inside the UA secure zone for now. up until yesterday. The server hung up yesterday for an unknown reason, which they're looking into now, but it has been for the past few days, except for yesterday, I think, it's been possible to upload. So we are getting uploads. I'm working on the post-processing, which changed a little bit because of the location of where we have the data stored and a few other things like that. But I just have to iron. Okay, I got it to where it will process magnetometer data correctly. I still have to get it to where the DRF uploads work properly. And I did manage to process one of them through, but then there was some other complication anyway. And I wasn't able to get into the server yesterday because of the hang, and they're working on that now. So, but anyway, work continues. It's I don't know, it's kind of like the war in Ukraine. It goes on and on and on, and you think you're making progress. So anyway, that's all I have. Back to Ned.
Progress is good. Okay. Gary, did you want to start talking about Whisper Sound deployment?
Well, I guess that's more of a question for the group. I've put together a little plan. I'm contacting a couple of people. In fact, Bruce, who's on the call here today, is one of our ideal candidates there in Virginia for a Whisper Sound. But I don't have control of the labor and the materials necessary to get these things all up and package them all out. So I just want to know if we wanted to start getting into that, or if that needs to be put off for later. Nathaniel's got to give me some direction there.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm ready to start talking about that, so we can start using time here for that.
Is that the unit that transmits on multiple bands and then receives on multiple bands?
Transmit only, and in our case, 80 through 10 meters.
Okay, because I think Case would be interested in putting one of those up at our farm location.
Okay, if you guys want to take a few minutes now, I'll bring up the plan that I sketched up back in June, and we can either throw darts at it or whatever.
Yeah, I think that the main thing is to decide where we want them. So who gets them?
Okay.
That's
got that.
That's the number one thing. And then once we know who gets them, then we can decide where they go.
All right.
And we have 10 of them in stock here.
Okay. Okay, are we looking at my draft plan on the screen, I hope?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So anyhow, obviously at some point we got to name the team who's involved. Let's just go through it real quickly. Identifying the station host is my responsibility. I've been working on that again. And I'll also continue working on that while I'm out at HamCon in Colorado with Dave. But one of the things we'll need obviously is the bill of materials. And I did work with between Paul Elliott's website and some correspondence with Paul last spring. I think I've got a list of what's needed to complete them. The Whisper Sound, the filter combiner, the cables, obviously a power supply, the GPS DO, the multi-band antenna, the end-fed half-wave for my antennas, and so on and so forth. So if somebody can use that to double check my work, I hope, and keep going. But obviously we'll need some sort of end user documentation. Maybe a README first page or something to throw in the box. That worked out real well for the Grape 1 DRFs. And of course, Paul has a lot of manuals online. And then we'll figure out who's going to test them, pack them, and ship them and whatnot. But so far as the locations, Nathaniel looked at this map. You looked at this map earlier this summer, and this fits in well with the Daisy 2 grant, and along with the units you've already purchased. So the yellow are the Whisper Sounds that are already on the air. People self-funded them, of course, which is great. And the green are the proposed locations. These are the dots I'm trying to fill in, the green one. Again, to match up the Daisy 2 grant. So right now, Bruce, as I said, is on the air, would be a great candidate for number 6. Michael Holland would be another great candidate up in North Dakota. He's expressed interest. And I'm working with a station in South Texas right now to get her comfortable with the idea now that I can tell people what antenna we're going to use and so on and so forth.
So
Do
you
you
can
have
use one in
a,
Ohio?
Yes,
Well,
we should. Yeah, let's put one. Let's give one to Case.
Because I think we've got an R8 antenna, which I believe does 10 through 80 meters vertical.
Yeah, we're
And-
we're deploying. We're planning on sending these end-fed wire antennas.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, we'll provide an antenna. It's not as fancy as an R8, but
Well, the R8 is disassembled and sitting up in the storage room right now, and I want to put it to use. So
yeah,
and that's an Omni, not a
Yeah.
right. And so would the end fed. So I mean, you could try doing it with the R8. That sounds good.
we could try the end fed.
MFEDs are not Omni.
They're not Omni.
Yeah, they have a very loby pattern.
Yeah, they're like
So
a
a
figure eight.
vertical is ideal.
Gary, do you have a candidate for the one, I think number 7 in Central Florida?
No, I'm looking for a home there.
Because as you might be aware, my daughter lives in Orlando. They own their own home, so we could probably get away with putting an antenna if it doesn't go too high. How tall does an antenna need to be?
The end-fed half wave, I'd have to look at the length. I forget what the length is. But I'd imagine deploying it at 15 feet or so high would probably be reasonably good.
Okay, that would probably work.
Does this go down to 80 meters?
Yes.
Yeah, probably wants to
Then
be
it's
up.
135 feet.
Yeah, probably wants to be up at least 30 feet.
35 feet, yeah.
Yeah, this would also tie
WW
in well to my daughter has a couple of kids who are interested in science.
Mm.
And I think that they would be one of the girls who is now maybe 11
Oh, perfect age.
talked about aeronautical engineering as a career path. So this might be
Oh, yeah.
it would appear that they would pay attention to it and keep it running. So
They'd be all over that. Like,
Well, the other thing is somebody's got to hold an amateur radio license too, right? And be the control op for this thing. It's a transmitter after all.
That's right.
11-year-old can pass the exam.
Well, that's true. No
we
problem there.
we can certainly. Okay, what class of license does it have to be?
Yeah,
like
I imagine
general?
it's not a technician because
I
you're
think you
operating in.
need general.
Yeah, it's probably
Yeah.
general, but even that's doable.
Yeah.
Which antenna is this one? We don't need something that's 250 watts.
No,
This
this
is
is
the
a,
one-
The antenna that we're using at WWV is the My Antennas, the low power end fed 80 meter through 10.
Is that
And it
the
has
one that ARRL is selling?
I don't know if it's the one ARRL selling, but it's
Yeah.
myantennas.com.
This
Oh,
is
okay.
yeah, the one that I just put in the chat is the one we're planning on sending out.
Yeah, because the ARRL is like $75.
That's the one, the 810, the 8010 low power. And
The
so that's
ARRL one's 75.
this one
Is that-
tunes 80. They do have a 75 version of it too. So the 80 is
Oh.
good because you need the low end of the band.
Yes, the ARRL one is, I think, only goes down to 40 meters. I'm looking at it now. And the yeah.
Vertical rise that we've got on that
Depends
antenna
on what
too is
wire you put on
we
it.
only have about a 25-foot vertical rise. There is a coil on it that we have on the rise, and then it goes out. And the length is pretty long. It's like an 80 meter antenna. So,
And
130 feet, I think.
the one from the ARRL, yes, it is only $80, but it only goes down to 40 meters, and you actually have to wind the coil yourself. And the
Yeah, there is that.
and the materials, they don't look as robust. So even though we don't necessarily need the 250 watts, the extra durability, I think, is valuable.
Okay, this sounds like we've made a decision on this, so we can,
Yes, and
we can move
this,
on
the
from
one
that.
that's on the screen is the one that's recommended by Paul Elliott, who's the manufacturer and designer of this particular device. So,
It's the one we put up and it's working pretty well at WWV, so.
yeah,
Yeah, but that's not an
The other
Omni.
thing that, the other thing that we have on
Okay.
our
you're
list of-
correct. You're correct, John. It's not an Omni. So I do agree with that statement. But it does have an appropriate SWR for all the bands are using. And
So if you point the
so-
wire north-south, you'll cover all of Europe and east-west, so.
yes. So yes, and then if you wanted to use your R8 instead, I think that would be just fine.
We may start with the wire, then move to the R8, because we have to dig a hole and install it.
Yes.
Keep one thing in mind with the end fed, because I have that, that's what I use. The pattern at each of the bands is different,
Yep,
okay? So,
it's bizarre.
right, what it's gonna look like at 80 is totally different what it's gonna look like at 20 or 10. Just
Yes.
do keep that in mind.
The other thing that we
problem.
have as a product that we purchase is that is on the one at WWB. We've got a Raspberry Pi Zero that we have internet connection. If you have internet connection, then you could remotely control the Whisper Sound. And so we're able to do that. And you know, for anybody that's wherever you're putting these things, that would be a really good thing to have as well.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
do have.
in
Rob,
fact, I think that's necessary actually to demonstrate that you are in fact the control operator, is that you,
exactly.
because you cannot have unattended, I don't believe you can legally have unattended beacons on HF at the frequencies we're using, but I think you can make a good argument that if you if you're able to monitor and maintain active control over it, then it's not unattended.
Exactly.
So are we suggesting there's gotta be a Raspberry Pi in the bill of materials too? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, Rob Robinette was suggesting we use a Raspberry Pi 3.
He said that high, huh? We're using a Raspberry Pi Zero W and it works, you know, a 02 and it works well.
What he said was by the time, and we can talk about this too, but I think he said with the Raspberry Pi Zero, by the time you added like all the extra networking stuff you needed, it came in to be about the same price as the Raspberry Pi 3.
Running wireless, is that what he's saying?
Yeah, possibly. So we can talk to him more about that.
I needed to be hardwired where I was.
Yeah.
This part is probably, it's probably easier to buy a Raspberry Pi 4 at the 2 gig version, and as far as availability goes, they're probably a lot more available than a Pi 3.
You're gonna have a hard time getting the 3s because I'm not sure they're in production anymore.
Right. 4s and 5s are pretty much what's out there right now, and you can get the lower end version for a reasonable price.
Okay.
And you don't really need much in the way of memory on it, so a 2 gig would probably be fine.
Yeah. I'll talk to Rob about that again. I know he has been playing around with the different configurations, and I didn't fully engage in that conversation when he was mentioning it. So
I thought, this is Bruce, I thought the Whisper Sound itself had the IP connection on it already, and so isn't that really all we need?
no, the Whisper Sound itself is configured it has to plug into a computer via USB, and then it shows up on the computer as basically as a flash drive, and then you drag the configuration file over to the flash drive, and then that's how it runs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
There might also be a serial interface on it. I can't remember.
Serial
but
as well.
It does have serial, yeah, but to get that serial, yeah, you need a terminal. So you need a Raspberry
terminal.
Pi to connect it via USB, and then you have to run something like TTY or some terminal program on the Pi to actually get into the terminal on the serial terminal on the Whisper Sound.
It's just like the setups I currently operate for NOAA balloons and the amateur Sound Hub stuff. So that'd be the same idea. Good. Okay.
It works really well. It's a good interface, at least and simple. It's very simple to set up. So
So it'd be a user supplied monitor and keyboard, et cetera, and stuff, right?
once it's configured, you can you can TTY into the device, so you don't even have to have a keyboard or screen on anything once you're up and running. So it's very nice.
I access all my Pis over VNC between my shack and my remote location.
Okay, so those notes are
The
made.
grapes. I'm trying to get all the grapes VNCs configured so I can run it that way too. I'm moving across the state, so I'm not going to be in Fort Collins anymore. So
Oh, wow.
You're moving.
I'm moving to the West Slope.
Are you trying to find a more RF quiet location?
If it's more quiet, it's definitely in the bottom of a valley, so that's not as good of a location.
Oh.
But I'm in Glenwood Springs, Colorado, and we'll be moving here permanently in January. So, but I want to keep the stuff running at Fort Collins, so I have to do everything remote. We'll get it up and running before then.
Okay, so getting back to our locations, I'm happy to put a green dot in here for CWRU, but it's got to come from somewhere else because we obviously only have so many units to deploy. So
No, Gary, I think with what we have, let's just we can deploy that one.
okay,
Unless CWRU has money to buy another one from Paul, but I think with the current map, with the ones that are operating the way it is right now, I think it's fair to take one of the ones that we have from R10 and put it at CWRU.
What kind of money are we talking about?
$2,000.
Oh, yeah, that would be a problem.
I mean, you can check with Chris on your current Daisy 2 grant how much materials you have, but I think right now I think we'll be totally fine. Just we'll just send one of the ones we have right now. That $2,000 might be needed somewhere else down the line.
I'll do a quick check with Chris, but he's now Dean of Engineering, so his time is
I know he keeps moving up in the
unbelievably
world.
tight. Yeah. His office is really cool.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Dean of Engineering.
okay. So one of the 10 will go to CWRU. That's fine. So that's about all I wanted to discuss on this stuff today. Like I said, I'm hoping the Bruce and a couple of others would be something we could deploy yet this fall before winter comes. But obviously that depends on resources and Scranton to pull all this stuff together. So
yes, and let's see. So I just ordered, or I asked Celisa to order those antennas. I am doing something which is pending, but I'm trying to get myself some more person power that might be able to help Majid, but I won't say anything more about that until it actually happens.
Smart move.
I'm working on it. I have a good lead, so I'm hopeful. Yes, so I'm working on that. And then I should also, I guess some people may be wondering, one of the things that's been happening with the RX 888s, I've put 2 RX 888 orders in this summer and they both got canceled to try to get the rest of the 25. They got canceled by Amazon, and you're dealing with tariffs and all that stuff. So I'm getting a little fed up with that. It turns out that some of the people in Tapper, I think, are close to having a Tapper designed RX 888. And so I'm taking pause from trying to order more RX 888s to see if we can actually get that over the hump, because I think if we could have our own tapper design, that would be much preferable for many different reasons. And I think I've been talking to Dave Larson about it. I think we might be able to do it. So that's one of the reasons why I'm kind of pausing on buying more ARC-888s. But I do have maybe like 10 in stock that I'm sending out to different places. So. But again, that's still a pending thing, so I can let you know more as I know more. But that's what
for the Whisper Sound project, or is that something different?
That's for the ARC-888 for the so the Whisper Sound is a transmitter.
Okay.
That's all designed and set, and I have them in stock, so we are ready. We can actually start deploying those. Once we have the map, you know, then the next thing is really going to be coming up with the instructions. But we actually have the hardware. We know what the bill of materials is. We have to get the you know, we will have to order Raspberry Pis, and we will have to get that stuff configured. But we actually do have the hardware here in a way that could be deployed. So that's probably going to be the easiest thing to deploy next. And the VLF is also coming along. I'm going to have a meeting with both Jonathan and with Gary tomorrow to talk about VLF deployment.
Did he get his switch mode power supply noise problem fixed?
We're going two different approaches on this. So one approach is we sort of have a solution to that. We have a solution that definitely damps down the switched mode power supply noise, but it does that. Jonathan's not completely happy with how it resolves with the effect that it has on the VLF band. So he's not totally comfortable with actually using that solution. So what I'm going to talk about with Gary tomorrow and with Jonathan is I think the approach we want to take is I think we want to deploy 20 of them with the design as it is, because we know that is a tested working design that will collect the data we want. And we will want to find locations that is very favorable to VLF, but also places that might be able to tolerate a little bit of tolerate some HF noise. So we're going to be looking for sites that are not necessarily at the main DAISY sites. They are going to be like VLF only receive sites. So we're probably going to be looking for people that have farms or RF quiet locations that aren't using them for HF receive at this time. And we try to build out the network that way. And then we're going to save 5 VLF receivers that we will deploy with the regular DAISY sites. And we're going to install the noise mitigation on those. And we're going to continue to try to develop the noise mitigation, refine the noise mitigation circuitry, and see if we can get it to a point where Jonathan's happy with the VLF data quality and we're happy with the noise mitigation. But that way we can both get a lot of sites that have good data while at the same time continuing to work on the electromagnetic compatibility issues. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Great. So yeah, that's the plan for VLF. So Gary, as a preview for what our meeting will be with tomorrow, basically we're going to ask you to pull out the map, and we're going to have Jonathan tell you where he would like to see VLF receivers, and Jonathan gets to pick 20 sites. But those 20 sites that he picks should be comfortable with the idea that there may be some RFI across the HF band. So we need sites that are both good for VLF, but could have RFI across the HF band. These sites, they do not, since it's receive only, there's no requirement that they be licensed. So we could take any volunteer that has a favorable location and some interest. And I imagine that there's an interest, there is a whole VLF community out there. So I think there are people who are primarily interested in VLF, and that's the thing they want to do. So, yeah.
Everybody likes a challenge. That's just one more. That's good.
Yep. I've been wrestling with this challenge for about what 8 months or now or so. 6 months.
Intimately familiar with those kinds of challenges.
Yes.
All right, that's it for my topic. Back to Rachel for the moment, I guess.
Okay. Moving on down the list, although Gary, you will come up again. So if you'd like to talk about Mouse House deployment, moving things to the Mouse House, we can do that now too as well.
Mouse
Yeah,
house.
might as well jump into that. So many of you on the call here were at K3LRs back in August, and we installed the PSWS, the RX-888, the ground magnetometer, computers in a temporary house, literally on K3LR's property. Tim also had basically a storage building that was unfinished on this nearby, and he is finishing that building, putting up interior walls and heating and cooling and doors and all that sort of stuff. And that is affectionately known as the Mouse House. I don't know why it's called that, but I can probably picture it pretty easily in my mind. So anyhow, Tim wants to move on October 10th, the PSWS out of its temporary location with its above ground cables into the Mouse House, which is much closer actually to the receive antenna that Rachel built and others, and those who installed the magnetometer. So anyhow, I'm willing to go there and do that, and also speak to some Grove City College, I guess, students that day too. But we need to obviously do some planning to figure out what I'll need to bring with me to succeed, because the Mouse House is basically just an empty building. So I'm hoping if he's got power in there, it's pretty much shutting the system down and moving it over, maybe neaten up the wiring and do a few things like that. But I think all we need, I hope, is a piece of furniture to set this thing on. If I bring that with me and some tools, I can take care of the whole thing. It'd be nice to have Owen's phone number on my phone too, in case something happens. I need some of his advice. But that's where we're at with the Mouse House.
That sounds really good.
So my thought for a table was, Home Depot's got some of these lifetime plastic tables for like $45 or $50. They're like 4 feet long and they fold up and they have adjustable height and stuff. That's about the least expensive option I could think of to set this whole thing on. Obviously, we'd have to clear that with Tim, but other than that, that's about all the materials that should be needed to make this whole thing work. Other than a fistful of wire ties, I'm hoping. So
I think that sounds good.
okay.
Don't forget the ground rod outside to bring in.
Yeah. Well, we've. The other thing is, I know Tim's got the tools to terminate the RG6. I got to figure out if that's going to be buried ahead of time or if he wants my help digging the trench. I'm going to look into. They can't be very expensive. The tools to terminate the Ethernet cable, because again, that'll be a whole lot shorter. Once we bring it in the building, I got to put the connector on the end, but I'm sure I can figure that out. I'm guessing for about $20, you can get a termination kit with some connectors and a tool. So that's the other thing on my list. But that's the update on that. Back to net.
Related to that, Tim is asking for a presentation on the installation for his radio club on I think it's October, was it 12th? It's in October. I have to double check. But I had a conflict with that night, and I was wondering, Christina, would you be able to give a presentation to his club that night?
I think so. Do you need it to be in person? I'll see if I can make it, but I don't know for sure if I can get a ride there.
No, he said Zoom was fine.
Oh yeah, I think I can manage that over Zoom.
Okay, great. Yeah, so if you just reply to him,
Will do.
I'm sure they'd love to have you in person, but yeah, he said Zoom was fine.
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half ride from Cleveland, so Zoom's definitely a lot more convenient.
Definitely. Yeah, so I don't just, you can just reply to that email then, Christina.
I do have a no one tell him. I have a thank you gift for Tim that I need somebody to drop off there. So Gary, maybe I'll send that with you when you go.
Christina,
Yeah,
you
the
could
gift-
always hitch a ride on one of Ben's drones over there.
I don't know if it could lift me.
You're not that heavy. And his drones, yeah, you got no problems.
Yeah, I come down to the art museum every couple of weeks, so I could certainly pick that up from you, Christina. If anybody from Case or whatever the area wants to ride with me and see K through LR, they're welcome to do that too on the 10th. So that's
Sounds
it for
great.
me.
All right, we'll keep in touch about it.
Okay. Um, actually, I think Christina, you're the last person left I see in attendance who might have updates.
And indeed, I do not. I am juggling grants and the heliophysics big year issue, so that's where I'm at this week. I have nothing particular to report.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, concerns, or business? QCC. All right. I think that's it for business then. 73, everyone.
73.
7-3.
Thank you, everyone.